Hello everyone and welcome back for another exciting English lesson. My guests today are Andrea and Yolanda. You met them last week. Hi.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
And last week we had the pleasure of discussing celebrations. We activated vocabulary related to celebrations and we read texts about celebrations in different parts of the world. At the end of the lesson, I also mentioned means of expressing preferences. The bit of homework I assigned was for you to put everything together. Shall we start with Yolanda? Please tell us your short text, which was meant to be a journal entry.
Dear Diary, with August almost coming to an end, I thought I'd tell you about my favorite summer festival, Midsummer. It is a celebration of the season of summer, usually held at a date around the summer solstice. In Sweden, it is of such high importance that there have been proposals to make Midsummer's Eve the national day. What I like about this festivity is all of its traditions, like greeting the rising midsummer sun and floating flower wreaths over rivers or lakes. Hope I get to be part of it one day.
Thank you, Yolanda. What an excellent choice. Can you explain what the midsummer sun is? Because you mentioned it in your journal entry.
Well, it's basically the night before midsummer, which is Midsummer's Eve. They stay up all night and watch the sun rise the next day, and that's the midsummer sun.
Thank you, Yolanda. How about you, Andrea?
Dear Diary, today I came across a book describing celebrations around the world. It has a lot of interesting information about different festivals, but from all of them I would rather attend the one called Kwanzaa in Thailand. This is a Buddhist celebration which marks the beginning of the 3-month Buddhist Lent. What I find interesting about it is the parade of giant candles which takes place on the second day of the festival. Monks spend months making them as there is a kind of contest between temples. In the end, these giant works of art are burned as a reminder that nothing lasts forever.
What an interesting choice. Thank you, Andrea. And I love the fact that you also use the means of expressing preference by saying I'd rather. Excellent. You both did very well. We're now ready to start a new lesson. And it starts with a half questions. Have you ever? I'm going to play a recording for you. Somebody is going to tell us about their best birthday. There are 3 gaps in the text, and I'd like you, as you listen, to complete the missing words. So there's only 1 word in each gap. When we're done listening, we'll also check your answers.
The best birthday I've ever had was my 21st. On that day, my friends surprised me with a party at my favorite park. They had colorful balloons and a big cake with my name on it. We played games, danced to music, and had lots of fun. My best friend gave me a special gift, a beautiful bracelet that I still wear every day. We laughed, took pictures, and enjoyed the sunny weather. It was a day full of happiness and unforgettable memories. I will always cherish my 21st birthday.
Let's see what the missing words are. The speaker says on that day, my friend surprised me with a, Yolanda?
Party.
Good. And what an interesting place to choose for a party. So it was a surprise party, I understand, at his favorite park. They had colorful balloons and, Andrea?
A big cake.
Cake. Good. The best part was his name on the cake. And his best friend gave him a special, Yolanda?
Gift.
Gift. The purpose was, once more, to introduce a bit of vocabulary when we're talking about birthdays. We can have a birthday party, which can be held indoors, outdoors. Their choice was outdoors, a park. You can have a big cake, so a cake to celebrate your birthday. We do activities whenever we meet our friends in order to celebrate somebody's birthday, like playing games, listening to music, dancing even. And we also offer the birthday person a gift. When I wrote, first of all, that have questions, have you ever, what I did was to introduce a tense which we call the present perfect. We generally use this when we talk about general experiences up to now. I might have asked you, for instance, have you ever attended any of the celebrations that we discussed last week? What kind of celebrations have you ever attended? Both of these questions would have been an example of using the present perfect. But how do we form the present perfect? We use, first of all, an auxiliary, have or has, depending on the person, which will be followed by the past participle of the main verb. Remember, there are two types of verbs. Regular verbs just take ed. With irregular verbs, we'll need to look up their forms in a special list of irregular verbs. In order to spot the past participle form, we're going to take a look at the last column, so the third form of the verb, if it is an irregular one. This is how we form the present perfect. I'll give you an example from the text we have just listened to. The best birthday party I've ever had. Have is the short for have. So apostrophe VE is short for have. I've had. This is actually the present perfect form. It refers to this person experience up to that point, the 21st birthday. She has celebrated her birthday with a big party and a delicious cake. This is an example in which, for he, she, and it, we use has. For all other persons, we use have. This is the negative form. He hasn't been to Scotland so far. They have never climbed a mountain. If we use a negative adverbial like never, we don't use the negation not anymore. And that's because in English we only use negation once. And here's the question. Have you ever traveled to Asia? A question in the negative form. Haven't you heard the news? So remember, we use the present perfect when we talk about general experiences up to now. Actually, present perfect is a tense which combines present and past. Perfect stands for past. It refers to something that happened in the past, but it's also relevant in the present. It brings together present and past, so present perfect. But let me tell you other uses of the present perfect, besides the one I've just mentioned. For instance, we use it whenever we want to express actions that happened at some time in the past, but the time is not specified. We've had an example earlier, but here's one more. They have moved to the country. We don't know when that happened. It's definitely in the past. They live in the country now, but the time is not specified. If the time was specified, we needed to use the past simple. For instance, they moved to the country 2 years ago. Since the time is not specified, we use the present perfect, which we can also use to express actions that started in the past and have continued up to the present. This is the way in which the present perfect brings the past and the present together. So it started in the past, it continues up to the present. For instance, I have known Sam for 2 years. The action started in the past. 2 years ago, I met Sam, but I have known the person for 2 years. We use the preposition for to show the duration of the action for 2 years. We have an alternative to it using the preposition since. Since focuses on the moment when the action starts. So he has lived in London since 2012. Or of course we can turn this into a sentence using for and say he has lived in London for, help me with the math, 11 years? Yes, still good at it. And one more use of the present perfect is past actions that have a clear result in the present. Again, the present and the past are together. If I say, for instance, I've spilled my coffee, what a shame, I can see the result in the present. The coffee is somewhere on my clothes. This is how we're going to practice the present perfect, by doing a communication exercise. So Yolanda, Andrea, it's your turn now. There are 6 questions which I'd like you to ask each other. So let's imagine Yolanda starts by asking the first questions, and upon answering them, Andrea asks the same questions, and then we take turns like this until we answer all 6 of them. Is that clear?
Yes.
Crystal clear. So Yolanda, will you start by asking questions?
Okay. How important is our birthday to you? Do you usually have big celebrations or keep it simple?
I like celebrating my birthday, but keeping it simple. I like to be with my close friends and family more than have a lot of people. What about you?
I feel the same way. I like small celebrations because it gives me a chance to connect with my friends, and it's birthdays are supposed to be you and your close people.
What's your favorite memory from a birthday celebration you've attended or had?
So my memory is not too good, but I remember last year it was my grandpa's birthday and we were on holiday, and we celebrated it on a bus that took us all over Lisbon. And it turned out there was another grandpa there that had the same birthday, and it was a funny coincidence, I guess. What about you?
For me, it was some time ago. It was a friend's party, and their sister pushed their face in the birthday cake, and we ended up having a food fight.
It sounds fun for somebody watching this, because if you're involved, I'm not quite sure it's that fun.
Do you prefer to celebrate your birthday with a big party or a quiet gathering with close friends and family?
Well, I already said that I prefer to have a more quiet gathering. I find it more fun.
I'd say the same. It's just not necessarily quiet, but sometimes if you invite people you're not that close with, there can be tensions, and it's best not to.
What's the most memorable birthday gift you've ever received? Why was it special?
For me, it was a long time ago. I was 6, and my parents gifted me my electric piano, and I still have it, and I will never get rid of it, no matter how old, because I love playing the piano.
That's
Yeah. What's yours?
It was a graphic tablet. I still use it today. And my parents and friends gathered money together to buy it for me. It was really nice.
Yeah, it sounds nice. Do you like surprises on your birthday, or do you prefer to know the plans in advance?
I didn't have any kind of surprises on my birthday, but I think I'd like it. Why not? Did you
So,
have any surprises?
no. I have actually never met anyone who had a surprise birthday party, but I think surprise gifts are important. That you don't know what you're gonna receive, because then your reaction is honest and it's fun to watch, I guess.
Speaking of that, that just reminded me of something. Have you ever played that kind of Secret Santa game at Christmas with your colleagues, maybe?
Yeah.
That reminds me, it reminded me of this idea of a surprise gift rather than birthday in this case. Yeah. So do you enjoy doing this kind of games? Playing this kind of games?
I do.
There's an element of surprise in it. Yeah, okay. And there's one more question.
Are there any special foods or dishes that you typically have on birthdays?
So for me, there is no birthday without a chocolate cake. I like chocolate and I love cake. What about you?
Yeah, the cake as well, except I am completely the opposite. I love chocolate, but I hate chocolate cake. So I'm sorry, that's a disappointment. But yeah, like fruit cake or something, I don't know.
Speaking of that, let's explore cultural differences in celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. There will be short texts that I'm going to ask you to read. You'll take turns. Each of you reads one text and then we move on. At the end of reading these texts, I'd like us to answer these two questions. Which cultural birthday celebration surprised you the most? And what can we learn from these different celebrations? Can they enrich our understanding of the world in any way? And here's the first one. Andrea, will you read it?
Red envelopes, China and East Asia. In many East Asian cultures, including China, Taiwan, and Korea, it's common to give red envelopes, hongbao or angbao, with money as a gift for birthdays. The color red symbolizes luck and prosperity, and the act of giving money signifies good wishes for the recipient's future.
Yolanda, your turn now.
Name days, Greece and Eastern Europe. In Greece and many Eastern European countries, name days are celebrated instead of or alongside birthdays. Each day of the year is associated with the feast day of a particular saint, and people named after that saint celebrate on that day.
A challenge here.
Yes, quinceañeras, I think. Latin America. In many Latin American cultures, a girl's fifth birthday is celebrated with a quinceañera, a grand celebration marking her transition into womanhood. It often includes a formal ceremony, a lavish party, and a religious aspect.
Sweet 16, United States. In the United States, a Sweet 16 party is a significant celebration for many girls, marking their 16th birthday. It's often a big event with friends and family, similar to a smaller scale wedding or a debutante ball.
Coming of age, Japan. In Japan, the coming of age day, Seijin no Ki, celebrates young people who have reached the age of 20, which is considered the age of adulthood. Ceremonies are held and young adults dress in traditional kimono attire.
Lunar calendar birthdays, Vietnam. In Vietnam, some people celebrate their birthdays according to the lunar calendar rather than the Gregorian calendar. This can lead to variations in the date of celebration from year to year.
Interesting.
Quiet celebration, Sweden. In Sweden, birthdays are often celebrated in a more subdued manner compared to other cultures. It's common to have a quiet gathering with family and close friends.
Which of these cultural birthday celebrations surprised you the most?
Maybe not surprising because I've heard of most of these, but the red envelopes in China, I think it's nice that they have this small thing that's a tradition and that they are so superstitious, I guess, of the color.
Right, good. Thank you. And Andrea, how about you?
I didn't hear about it before, the Japanese coming of age.
I haven't heard
kind of-
about it. We're learning the present perfect, so I haven't heard about it. Yeah, until today. All right. It's a coming of age, and how old are they when they celebrate this?
20 years old.
20, yes, they are 20. Can we learn anything from these diverse celebrations?
Obviously, yes, because anything new about other cultures is welcome. It makes us understand each other better.
One thing that I found a bit surprising while researching information about celebrations was the fact that name days that we also celebrate here are celebrated in Greece to begin with and other Eastern countries. And it made me realize that we're part of a bigger culture, actually. Thank you so much. All right. And of course, being knowledgeable about such celebrations may be important, not necessarily to us as individuals, but as cultural communities. As a follow-up to this, I'm going to ask you to write a short paragraph about a memorable personal celebration you've had, using, of course, the present perfect. This is what we learned today, as well as some of the vocabulary that we've introduced. So with every piece of homework, we're trying to put together everything we've studied during that lesson. On that note, thank you so much for joining me again, Andrea and Yolanda. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
As for everyone there at home, remember, watch these videos on YouTube for the explanations provided there, for the examples. They will help you learn more. Always try to do your homework, even if there's, I'm not there to mark this for you or to give you feedback, but it will be good practice. Maybe there is somebody, a friend who knows more English, or a teacher you can ask to check your homework. Until next week, bye-bye.